Should you and your startup join a startup accelerator? As an angel investor that invested in over 115 different companies, I usually answer no, but there are 3 different scenarios where I do answer yes, and I recommend startup founders to join a startup accelerator. Now, the first reason is something that happens to many startup founders, and that's stagnation. Sometimes I can give all the advice in the world, and still 2-3 startup founders in a pre-seed stage startup will not be able to find their way, and they're going to experience stagnation. Maybe their MRR is capped at $5,000 a month. Maybe they're not managing to reach product market fit. And sometimes a startup accelerator is exactly what this type of startup needs, because the startup accelerator can give you a lot of interactions. And if we're looking at some of the startups in my portfolio who've done Techstars and other types of accelerators, they came out with a lot of tools and ideas on how to run their startup in the future the minute they finished that startup accelerator journey. Now, other than stagnation, there are 2 more scenarios. Another scenario is if you are a first-time founder building a startup with other first-time founders. The whole founding team is building a startup for a first time, an accelerator might not be such a bad idea. Novice startup founders will get lost often, and an accelerator will give the framework in order to kind of understand the startup world and how to navigate everything from investing, product market fit, growth hacking, and more. Third and last scenario where I recommend a startup to go to a startup accelerator is when they can't find an angel investment from angel investors and they can't find a check from a VC. And when a startup is running out of cash and it needs to grow, I recommend a startup accelerator because there's a high likelihood that a startup accelerator, even though the terms are not great, will write out a decent check, especially if it's the top 3 such as Y Combinator, Techstars, or 500 startups. Now, before you go jumping on all the application pages of all the best startup accelerators that exist in the world, you want to watch this video right here. In this video, I talk about all the questions that you should ask yourself before you decide if you are going to raise money for the first time for your startup.